Welcome to a frigid Pittsburgh on this Thursday evening. Tonight we bring you women's basketball on the ACC network inside the Petersen Event Center. The Pitt Panthers have a tall task for them tonight at home against the number 8 NC State Wolfpack. They've been playing great in recent games. These guys are ready to go at it tonight. Welcome to the table, Kevin Wheeler, Amanda Sile, Casey Garrow joining us pretty soon later on. Amanda, NC State comes into this game tonight playing some of their best basketball right in the heat of conference play. Yeah, and an NC State team that has wins over 2 ranked teams this season, one of which came last week against Florida State. And this NC State team, they do it a little bit old school with defense and rebounding, something you don't typically see in this day and age. And you can see these stats stand by themselves. 31, almost 32 defensive rebounds, good for 3rd in the nation, 6th in the nation, with opponents shooting just 33%, a 10.5+ rebound margin, and then opponents just getting that 54 points a game. And for NC State, Amanda, everything runs through their ACC Player of the Year candidate, Elisa Canane. And that's it. Everything is about Canane. She's a do-it-all player, 6'5", and if there's a rebound that is up for grabs, she is going to get a hand on it and put it back. You can see 10 double-doubles this season, those 10 rebounds, and shooting over 61% from the field, good for 1st in the ACC. Canane, a force in the post that the Panthers will have to deal with tonight, and offensively for Pittsburgh, Gabby Green has been setting the tone for them. Led the team in scoring over the last couple of games. The Panthers, though, are going to be searching for somebody else to help pick up the slack. They need some help offensively. There's a lot of different players with ability on this team. Lance White and the Panthers looking for somebody to step up. NC State's head coach, Wes Moore, fun guy to talk to. Talked to him yesterday. See, over 700 wins in his career. Picked up his 700th win earlier this year. Formerly the head coach at Chattanooga for 15 years. Getting set for tip here. A couple of local groups on hand tonight. Getting the youth groups involved at the Petersen Event Center. Amber Brown and Canane, center court, and we're underway. NC State with the ball to start. Shot from the corner quickly. Canane already on the glass and lays it in. Starters for the Wolfpack: Aislinn Koenig, Kai Crutchfield, Jakia Brown-Turner, Kayla Jones, and of course, Elisa Canane. Panthers with the ball now. Deshanette Harris, Asia Bug, Amber Brown, Kara Judkins, and Gabby Green on the court to start for Lance White's Panthers. Mid-range shot good for Harris. Tied at 2. And that's a good sign for the Panthers. Harris has come off the bench in her past 6 games, averaging over 8 points, and they put her back in the starting lineup, and you can see what she was able to do there with that last bucket. Looking into the post, and they just lost Brown-Turner behind. Good awareness by her to creep in, and an easy layup again for NC State, 2 consecutive possessions. And it was a great trap, but NC State just able to find the open player and get the easy bucket. Ball screen, nice hedge by NC State. It's tapped away briefly. Panthers retain possession. Harris. Another mid-range jumper, same spot, no luck this time. Rebound down to the Wolfpack, here they come. And just a great job of NC State boxing out and making sure that one of their players is going to get that rebound, not letting the Panthers anywhere near the paint. Jones into Canane. A lefty layup is good, and that's going to be the matchup we're going to watch all night long. Wolfpack play a 4-out, 1-in style of offensive basketball with Canane down there. That'll be tough for Judkins and a few of the other Panthers' big players down low to try and keep up with her for the night. Asia Bug with a bucket. And that's another key player for the Panthers to get going offensively. They want to limit some of her minutes as she's been playing a lot and try and filter her in and out of the game. Canane again. 3 lay-ins for Elisa Canane and fantastic entry passes for the Wolfpack on the offensive side. They're looking for her often. And you can see exactly why this NC State team is sitting at 17-1 on the season. They have such chemistry on the court, know exactly where their teammates are. Wolfpack with a turnover. There's Lance White, 2nd season as the Panthers head coach. And Panthers still looking for their first victory of the new year 0-6 in ACC play, and it's been a work in progress for Lance White and the Panthers. They've largely been focusing in recent weeks on the process to try and get his current roster as good as it can possibly be and continue to build them up as this season goes along. Here comes Harris, a nice drive into the middle, high off the glass, and that one's good.
And just a great take by Dejanette Harris against the 6-foot-tall freshman Jakia Brown-Turner for NC State, going with the mismatch and taking advantage going down the lane.
Jones looking low. Igbokwe on her, it gets it over to Koenig. Brown-Turner on the left side. Jones stepping into a long jumper, and that one's good.
And
first three of the evening.
Yeah, it was a three. Looked really close to the line there, but a great shot and a great job again of ball movement by NC State.
That one's good for the Panthers. Asia Bug getting involved early. Saw Kanane at the top of the key. She will shoot that from time to time. The three rattling around down low. Panthers touched it last. It'll be Wolfpack basketball. (11-8) lead. Almost midway through the first quarter. Coming on is Jashani Knight. Asia Bug to the bench. Bug with 4 points so far. Around the corner, Crutchfield, halfway down, it popped out. NC State beasts on the glass in the early going. Brown-Turner with another lay-in.
Yeah, that makes now 5 rebounds for NC State, and they've all come in order to get those second chance points and then stop the Panthers on the offensive end.
Wolfpack lead the ACC in rebounding. We told you earlier, this team does it with defense and rebounding, and it's kind of funny, Amanda. With NC State, you typically see such a good defensive team forcing a lot of turnovers, but really they just play really good half-court defense. They're not going to turn their opponents over too often. They just stay right in front of you and make you take hard shots. Lamarck steps outside and nails a three, makes it a 2-point game.
And that's Lamarck's third made three-pointer of the season. She's a player that, even though she stands at 6'4", she loves to step out beyond the arc.
Baseline cut, that one blocked down low. I think Igbokwe got a piece of it. Fade away from Harris, almost goes down. Igbokwe has it tipped away. It'll stay on this end. Igbokwe 6th in Division I in total blocks. And that was the defender that Terry Mitchell told us earlier. She'll be the one that has primary defensive duties against Elisa Kanane. That would be a good matchup. Igbokwe very athletic. And obviously, we know what Kanane brings to the table.
And the thing with that matchup is that Igbokwe just has to keep her hands up, and she can't try and grab at the ball, has to stay her ground and use her athleticism to her advantage.
Good pass out by Bug. Knight can't find it. Igbokwe coming down with it, fighting, still fighting down there. Kanane ends up coming away with it. Wolfpack looking to push. To the top, Kanane open. She's going to take it this time. A three, no good. Front rim for Kanane. Looked like she rushed it a little bit. A turnover in the backcourt. Crutchfield, active hands, takes it away. That one comes down to the Panthers. A nice first step by Crutchfield on the drive. Now it's Knight one-on-one, going the other way. Gets it to go. We have a tie game at the P.
And what a move by Jashani Knight on Kayla Jones, just blazing up the court and taking advantage of the mismatch.
Good ball reversal by the Wolfpack. Crutchfield with a three of her own. First points of the night for Kai Crutchfield.
And early on, Kevin, this is like a track meet. Up and down, these teams really focusing on offense and using screens to their advantage, as you saw there with Asia Bug.
Bug couldn't find it. Now it's NC State. 3-point lead for the Wolfpack, number 8 in the country, second in the ACC with a 6-1 conference record. Jones stepping outside. She tried one earlier and got it to go. This time, no good. A 3-point lead for the Wolfpack on the road. We'll be back in a moment on the ACC Network. Back with you in Pittsburgh, NC State with a 3-point lead in the first quarter. This team very balanced, Amanda, across the board. These 5 starters that have been starting most of the games for Wes Moore's Wolfpack, you see what they've done. All of them scored 9+, and it's a big thing that he talked to us about yesterday, not just having to rely on Elisa Canane. Others can pick up the slack if she starts to struggle.
I mean, it helps when you have Canane at 18 points in ACC play, but you saw that everyone has stepped up their play in ACC as well, and you see a quick 2 points for Jakia Brown-Turner, a very promising freshman, one of the top recruits in the country, and a quick turnover, Canane getting in the lane.
And tonight, 4 of the 5 starters for NC State are already on the board. The only one that isn't is Aislinn Koenig. Another deep shot for Canane. Batted around, Gabby Green coming up with it. A 5-point lead for the Wolfpack as the first quarter is coming to a close. Four low on the set and a handoff. Top of the key ball screen. Daishanette Harris loves that spot on the floor. Post pass over the head of Amber Brown. Just a sloppy possession right there, Amanda.
And everything just took way too long to develop. And something we talked to before the game to Associate Head Coach Terry Mitchell, you see there with Lance White. She said in their game against Syracuse, the guards played completely above the free throw line. They have to penetrate. They have to make those outlet passes a lot easier, and also being able to get down low, bring the defense in so that you can spread the ball out.
What a pass from Canane all the way across the court to get Brown-Turner an open shot. Couldn't capitalize. Bug, a nice kick out. Just short on it was Gabby Green.
And what do you know? Canane there for the rebound again. Already having 5 rebounds tonight.
Canane posting up on Judkins, sets a screen instead. Kicking it out, Crutchfield wants another 3, can't get it. That's going to be an over-the-back foul on Elisa Canane.
You can see that double team in the post there, something they want to work on against Canane, and then reversing the floor and finding Brown-Turner, but just not able to put it down. And the first foul on Canane was called over the back. Great positioning on that last possession by Amber Brown to box out Canane, and her only option was to go over the top.
Wes Moore sees the foul picked up by Canane, gives him an opportunity to give her a breather. Amy Hayford into the game for the Panthers, number 4 in the corner. Harris has her shot blocked by Brown-Turner, and it's going to go the other way. We're going to call a foul on Harris.
And you could see the defense for NC State really starting to cause trouble for the Panthers offensively. And when we talked to head coach Wes Moore yesterday, Kevin, he told us that he really recruits offensive players and then hopes that he can teach them defense. And I'd say that he's done a great job of teaching all of these girls defense.
Well, it's a hard thing to do, and that's why I kind of called it old school earlier, is because in today's day and age, it's very much up and down the floor who has the most stats. I mean, you're watching NBA games these days that are scoring 150 points in regulation, and to get a bunch of college kids and college girls to come to school as offensive players and say, hey, we're going to strip it all down, we're going to build you back up from the defensive end and hope that you can rebound well. And on those two things, though, Amanda, he told us yesterday, it was my favorite thing that he told us, was that shooting and scoring can be fickle on a night-to-night basis, but one thing that will always be there for you is defense and rebounding.
And also great passing that we just saw again from NC State. A beautiful pass across the lane to find a wide-open player on the block, and another easy shot for NC State, now up 5. But before that, a great shot from Amber Brown on the Panthers' last possession. Hopefully they can build on that.
5-point deficit for the Panthers, running the shot clock down, taking it in. Now NC State. They're going to push it. They're not going to hold for the last shot. A nice strip from behind by Jashani Knight. Good defensive play. And
look here at this. Going through the lane is Kayla Ely, and then just finding Erica Cassell right on that other block. The defense collapsed on NC State, and then finding a teammate wide open.
Wolfpack, a good passing team, shares the ball, third in the conference in assists per game. Tough pass to get the ball in. It comes into Crutchfield. 15 left in the quarter. Ely with it out top. Dancing around with Harris, gets past her and ends up, no, I thought she drew the foul. No, they're going to call a travel on Kayla Ely.
And now the Panthers have a chance to cut into this 5-point lead.
Knight looking, taking it up the right side, turning the corner, has her shot blocked. Still with a little time, and they can't get the shot off. That'll do it for the first quarter. A 5-point lead for NC State here in the Petersen Event Center.
Welcome back inside the Petersen Event Center. It's a 15-20 game. Pitt is behind right now, NC State leading the way, but we have some special celebrities in the building tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates Caravan is here tonight. Some players and coaches and even the famous pierogies were here earlier signing autographs. They just did a special t-shirt toss for the fans, and you may notice one particular player that's here tonight from 2015. Will Craig was here at Charles L. Coss Field. He was actually on the Wake Forest team facing the Panthers. And Kevin and Amanda, you might remember him. I think all three of us were either in the control room or in the booth or running around somewhere by Charles L. Coss Field.
Yeah, and that's for sure, Casey. I think I remember that game, and honestly, Will Craig did not play well against the Panthers that weekend back in 2015, but he's come a long way now. He's a professional, so.
Yeah, I think they might have shut him down a little bit, and something that he's probably not used to now that he's a pro in the Pirates organization.
It's nice to have the Pirates here. The Caravan is such a nice thing that they do every offseason, traveling around the Pittsburgh area, connecting with the community in many different ways. It's nice to have those guys in the building tonight.
And that Caravan goes all over the place. They have
really
the
does.
Pirates spread out all over the greater Pittsburgh area, going to multiple stops a day, and something really great. And then it culminates with Pirates Fest at PNC Park this weekend.
Still a 5-point lead for NC State, about a minute into the second quarter. Panthers hanging in there so far on their home floor. Lamarck was looking to post. They took it the other way. Bug with a mid-range jumper. Halfway down it comes out.
And at this point in the game, Kevin, the Panthers are even with NC State on the glass. Both have 13 rebounds, so they've had a big emphasis all season on that, but you see there the great move by Erica Cassell, but the Panthers have a big emphasis on rebounding all season, and this is a tough game to do it against, but they're really holding their own.
And statistically, Amanda, that's one of the things that the Panthers are having a good year in that stat category is rebounding. And so that's one of the things that coming into tonight, if you thought they were going to hold their own in some area, it was probably going to be there.
And a great take from Kayla Jones running the floor for NC State, extending their lead quickly.
NC State finding their groove in the second quarter here, a 9-point lead over the Panthers.
Welcome back to the Petersen Event Center. 15-24. Pitt is still behind right now. NC State leading the way. And right now you see this great horse race we saw during the media timeout. Kevin, Amanda, who did you think was the clear winner there?
Clearly not Will Craig.
Obviously. Nick Birdie took him down.
That's funny stuff right there.
Between the three of us, who do you think would win that race? I think it might be me.
No.
Me all the way.
That's how you know there's three dominant personalities on this show, is all three of us want to bet on ourselves. That's funny.
After the game, we're trying it. It's on.
We can get those. We can pull them out.
I'm in. Let's do it.
I'm ready for it. Let's see.
It's always fun stuff when they do games like that in the breaks. It honestly makes the game experience so much more fun.
Nothing will beat a couple of weeks ago with the baby race.
Yeah, the baby race is always a good one. NC State, another offensive rebound, carrying a 7-point lead here. Second quarter, Petersen Event Center. Kevin Wheeler, Amanda Sile, Casey Garrow with you tonight. Looking down low for Brown Turner. Hunter's going to take it. Rebound down to Igbokwe.
And the Panthers have done a good job with Kanane on the bench of controlling the boards. And they just need to try and figure out their offense, as it was going well early, but as of late has stalled.
It's interesting, Wes Moore told us that, you know, there's players he wants to get involved into the rotation more as they get through conference play. And he says it's always so hard for him to take players like Elisa Kanane or Aislinn Koenig out of the game to give other people opportunities, because they're so efficient and so good. But he has to temper himself as a coach and get other people opportunities.
And they have a lot of depth with some older players that battled injuries last year, as you see the foul by Rita Igbokwe there. But there's some players like Cassell, Ely, and Grace Hunter who all had season-ending injuries last season. He wants to get them in, but as you said, it's hard whenever you have those younger players that are really picking up their production. You have to look at it as, when do I pull them out? You don't want to pull a hot hand out of a game and stop the momentum of your team.
Grace Hunter at the line. That's one of the players that Wes Moore mentioned to us. And last year, when Grace Hunter went out with the knee injury, she was leading the team in scoring, and she's still not fully back to her healthy self. She's still working herself back, but Wes Moore and the Wolfpack, they're hopeful that Grace Hunter at some point in February and March really finds her groove again and becomes the player she was last year before the injury.
Can you imagine how successful this team is now? Almost a 20-point scoring margin, and they're a team that focuses on defense.
Well, that's how you do it, right? Get scoring margin when the other team doesn't score. Foul away from the ball underneath. And that's a second foul on Kanane down low. Just preventing movement there, cutting off Judkins from the block. That's one of the things Terry Mitchell told us about, is that this NC State team defensively very stingy. It's because they're so physical on the defensive end. A steal coming the other way, and they're going to call a double dribble. Jada Boyd bobbled it on the way.
And that's another player, you mentioned Jada Boyd, for this NC State team that Coach Wes Moore wants to get more active in the game. Just a freshman, but one of the top recruits in the country for this NC State team.
It's a great recruiting class that Wes Moore brought in, Jada Boyd being one of them, and of course, Jakia Brown-Turner. Jada Boyd, number 32 overall recruit by ESPN. Jakia Brown-Turner, number 15. So between the two of them, and then obviously your upperclassmen, I mean, Kanane only a sophomore. This NC State program has a bright future ahead of them. And obviously sitting this year at 17-1 on the year. Yeah,
and Brown-Turner, a McDonald's All-American in her senior season, and that was a McDonald's All-American that NC State hasn't seen for a while. They've gotten good recruits, just not those top caller recruits.
Entry pass down low. As Camille Hobby kicks it back to the top. Boyd gets it to fall. Seeing Wes Moore going deep into the bench in the second quarter. A 9-point lead for NC State. Errant pass from Brown.
And that's a couple of turnovers in a row that we've seen for the Panthers. And when you're facing a team like NC State, those are errors that you can't have.
NC State with 18 of their 28 points coming in the paint. Something they pride themselves on. In the paint, Amanda, this year, Wolfpack outscoring their opponents by over 200 in paint points, excuse me. Such a balanced team. Koenig finally gets on the board, and it's a triple. Such a quick trigger from the outside.
And you knew that Koenig would eventually find the net as she averages over 10 points a game. And you see just the ball movement. Gabby Green a touch late there, and that's all the time that Koenig needs. to get the shot off.
Koenig does so many things for this team. Averaging over 2 threes a game for this team. Primary ball handler, good defender, little flare screen, try and get her involved. Thought about picking it up, went for the entry pass. Good backside, backdoor cut from Jada Boyd. That's just what NC State can do. You overplay on one person, and they will find the open space on the floor to get an easy bucket.
And Gabby Green breaking a 9-0 NC State run over 2.5 minutes. And that was a bucket that the Panthers desperately needed. They just have to find their rhythm offensively. They've done a decent job defensively, but NC State sure is heating up, as you see a beautiful shot there from Camille Hobby, another freshman for this team has seen some more playing time as of late.
Lead up to 15. It's the largest lead of the game for NC State. Panthers just starting to look discombobulated on offense. NC State doing a nice job, both ends of the floor. Easy jumper for Boyd, wide open from 15, and short-armed it.
And the Panthers just have to focus on those couple of things we talked about that they struggled with Syracuse. The guards need to penetrate into the lane. They have to get past that free throw line, can't just move the ball around the arc and hope that something's going to happen.
Panthers doing a lot off the dribble right now. Harris almost lost it and almost caused another turnover. 7 turnovers for the Panthers in this game. Harris gets that one.
And that's what you have to do, just chip away at this lead. Get a bucket here and there, and then you have to find a way to stop this NC State team.
Harris and Bug with 6 apiece for the Panthers to lead them in the second quarter. Gabby Green trying to take the whole team on. Bug stepping into one, gets it from 3. Lead down to 10 for NC State.
And what looked like might be a turnover for the Panthers, kind of getting the ball off her foot, Gabby Green, but then corralling it and finding Asia Bug, and she loves that play of stepping into a 3. If she can get the ball and just take that one step, that fluid motion really gets her going, and Dejanette Harris is going here with the steal, but misses the layup.
Just seemed to rush it. Let's look at Bug's 3. Harris is first here.
Just right inside that three-point arc, and you see here Gabby Green just getting the pass right between the defenders, and that quick step for Bug right into the 3.
Bug with 9 to lead all scorers in this game. Neither team shooting particularly well. NC State with a 10-point lead, and they're 4 of 14 from 3.
But they have that balanced scoring. You have Koenig with 3, Crutchfield with 3, Boyd with 4, Hunter with 2, Hobby with 3, Brown Turner with 6, and it just goes on and on, scoring from everywhere.
All but one player for NC State that's touched the floor tonight hasn't scored. 10 players have touched the floor for NC State, 9 of them scored. And that's a luxury to have for Wes Moore.
It's a luxury to have for any coach. When you look at how teams need to play now, and we talked about how it's kind of gotten into a lot of track meets that you see in basketball games in this day and age, and so you have to have a lot of players that can contribute, and we see another over-the-bat call, this time on Kayla Jones for the Wolfpack.
I think track meet's a good way to describe it, and at times in this game we've seen it in a similar way. NC State's game against Florida State just a week ago was very similar, just like that. 2 top 15 teams going at it up and down the floor constantly. A lot of talent between the 2 teams. It was a fun game to watch. Hayford with a long 3 misses it. Battle for the ball underneath. Possession will go to NC State.
And And so when you talk about that, Kevin, that depth helps so much. When you can pull a player off that you know is one of your scorers and then replace them with another scorer, it's such an asset to have. And you can see it with what NC State has been able to do in this game. But as of late, the Panthers doing a good job defensively, almost 3 minutes scoreless for the Wolfpack.
Jones stepping into one, back iron. Here come the Panthers, trying to cut into a 10-point lead. Under a minute to go in the first half. Contested three, comes down to Judkins, and she'll go to the line.
And just a great rebound by Judkins. Kind of found herself right place, right time, getting in a good position, and then able to get that up quickly and get the foul call.
Judkins, the starting post player for the Panthers, shooting just 44% from the free throw line this year.
And that's kind of been a struggle of this entire Panthers team. As you see the great rebound from Judkins, getting position on Camille Hobby, just not able to finish, but getting herself to the line.
Judkins gets 1 of 2. Comes Koenig, no good. Brown-Turner hustling all over the floor tonight. Cassell, a 15-footer is good. Cashing in from the mid-range.
And now just a 3-second differential between shot and game clock. See if the Panthers wind it down.
Petersen will dribble it out. 11 on the shot clock. Judkins giving a ball screen, rolling. They had her for a moment, but they kick it to Bugh instead. 2 on the shot clock. Has to hoist it up and gets it. Cuts it to single digits at the end of the half.
And it's like she meant to do that the entire time. Just wait until the very last second, step into that 3 and bang. Nothing but net for Bugh.
It's a great slip on the screen right here by Judkins. Just get in the way enough. And that's what a 6th-year player in Bugh can do for you, bail you out of tough situations. And I got to say, Amanda, an 8-point deficit looks a lot better than an 11-point deficit right at the end of the half.
Especially against the number 8 team in the country. And the Panthers weathered the storm. It looked like the game was starting to get away from them, but then able to come into their own offensively.
Let's go talk to Casey Garrow on the sideline with Westmore.
Thanks, Kevin. Coach, an 8-point lead, still a dagger at the end. What did you see Pitt do on offense there at the end right there?
Well, setting the pick on the ball, we're supposed to be switching it, and we got confused, didn't get up there and contest it. They knocked it down.
Still seeing a lot of production from your bench, all offensively contributing a lot. What did you see from your team in the first half?
Well, unfortunately, we had to play our 5 players off the bench a lot because Elisa Canane got in foul trouble again. So got to be smarter, got to keep her on the court some. She's too good. But again, Erica Cassell, Camille Hobby did a good job when they were in there. So you're right, our bench picked us up, but we like to have Elisa out there a little bit more.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back to you, Kevin.
Westmore, always candid. Love talking to that guy. He's got some things to do at halftime, but his team has an 8-point lead over the hosting team, the Pitt Panthers. It's halftime. We'll be back in just a minute on the ACC Network. Back in Pittsburgh with you, number 8, NC State, with an 8-point lead over Lance White's Pittsburgh Panthers. Let's go to Casey Garrow. She'll catch up with Lance White.
Thanks, Kevin. Coach, only an 8-point deficit to the number 8 team in the country, Bugh, with the buzzer beater at the end, and that was her 100th career 3. How do you continue that momentum?
Yeah, I just think we got to keep pressing and, and keep pushing the basketball and being confident. That's a huge growth for us, being able to rebound with a team that's a really good rebounding team, and now we just got to convert a few more possessions. But they do a great job on defense that we have to just struggle to make some shots, and then we got to keep defending.
We were able to limit Kunane's production. She got in some foul trouble, got out of the game, and they had to rely on their bench right there.
Yeah, no, and that helps us, and we were doubling her early, and they hit some big shots, and they're a good 3-point shooting team. But we're going to mix it up, try to take some chances, and see if we can contain them as much as we can.
Thank you, Coach. Best of luck.
Thanks so much. Hell to Pitt.
Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, Casey. I appreciate that. And that's one of the things that we were prepared for coming into this game, really, with Elisa Canane, right? We knew they were going to double her. It was just how was she going to deal with that, right? And she dealt with it beautifully early on in the first half.
And the Panthers also were able to combat her, and when she was out of the game, take advantage. And Coach Ed White talked about battling them in rebounding. They're actually beating them 21-19 in rebounding so far.
And we know Canane got into foul trouble, but early, Amanda, she had it going.
And it was from the tip. She had the first points of the game, and you could just see her great positioning, finds herself in the perfect spot, gets the pass, and gets it up quick. But then when she went out with foul trouble, it was all about the N-State bench and the rest of the players around Canane and what they're able to do with great passing and great ball movement and moving without the ball.
It's those other players with the ability to pick up the slack for NC State that makes them dangerous. And for the Panthers, of course, the 6th-year player, Pittsbugh.
And she really found herself going late in the first half, especially in that second quarter. And you could see there the buzzer beater that we talked about, just stepping right into it exactly like she planned it. Just going right into the three. And we'll take a look at the stats between these two teams. Both of them, NC State picked it up offensively in that second quarter, so you see they're shooting 46% and Panthers out rebounding them, but that big key is the points in the paint doubling up the Panthers.
That's another thing that we expected, right? When you have a player like Canane and then the ability to bring in so many different bench players that are post players, they're fantastic down in the paint offensively. A very, very crafty NC State team. There is Elisa Canane, 2 fouls in the game. So we heard just at the end of halftime, or the end of the second quarter, excuse me, that Westmore was not pleased with it. He's like, again, Elisa Canane in foul trouble, so I have to use my rotation. You see here, Canane with 6 points, largely because she had to sit a lot of the second quarter, and 4 rebounds. Pittsbugh, 5 of 7 shooting so far, so a pretty good game for the Stars on these two teams.
But an early turnover for the Panthers to start this third quarter.
Kicked ball, Amber Brown.
And that's a player for the Panthers that they hope to get more active in this game. Only 2 points for Brown to go along with 4 rebounds, but she also a double-double machine along with Canane. Brown having 6 already this season as a freshman.
Entry pass comes to Brown Turner. She had a nice first half. Tries to tap it out after the miss. Panthers come down with it. Bug bringing it up, leading all scorers with 12 points. Bug, Harris, Brown, Judkins, and Green on the floor to start the second half for Lance White. Judkins tries a 15-footer, back rim. And here comes NC State again. Canane looking to post on Judkins, and a battle going on down there between those two. Nice entry pass. She's deep in the post and gets it to go. The skill from Elisa Canane.
And just the footwork, so active and knew exactly the moment that she wanted to the ball, motion to her teammates, and you see there again the active hands and getting the ball back for her team.
No, NC State, through the second quarter when Canane was out, they obviously, held the water, if you will. And it's funny because as soon as she comes on the court, they look like a different team. She draws so much attention. She's so good at getting herself open down low. And even if they do double her, she's so good at passing out of it. And now another 3 for NC State.
And another great job of passing there with Kayla Jones. But you talk about Canane. She was named to the Lisa Leslie Award watch list to start the season. And then midway through the season, as we are now, named to the John R. Wooden Award mid-season watch list.
Yeah, the accolades go on and on for Elisa Canane, a special player.
And only as a sophomore.
Leading the conference in double-doubles. Just an absolute machine in the post. Brown Turner just barely couldn't get it to go, and then Canane, the offensive rebound again and a putback. So good at cleaning up the boards. That's a quick timeout from Lance White. The lead jumps to 15. And Elisa Canane battling, fighting, putting her team up 15. Well, a special day at the Petersen Event Center is coming up. The annual Pink the Pete, 13th time the Panthers will be hosting Pink the Pete. It's going to be on Saturday, February 1st. Game time 5 p.m. Doors open at 3:30 for pregame activities and things. And of course, a portion of each ticket sold is donated to the Susan G. Komen of Pittsburgh Foundation. Breast cancer survivors honored at halftime every single year. It's just a fantastic event, Amanda, that we enjoy coming to every single year.
Absolutely. I pull my pink shirt out of the closet, get it ready to go. Next weekend already.
I can't believe it. It comes up quicker and quicker every year, I feel like. And if you want to be there for it, you can go get your tickets at PittsburghPanthers.com, of course.
And you should be a good game against Florida State. These Penn State Wolfpack battled them last week. Going to be a good battle as we see here today in the Petersen Event Center.
Turnover. Pitt coming down. Gabby Green with the miss on the runner. Igbokwe able to take it back. And we get a stoppage here. And subs coming on. I'm not sure what the stop was for.
I think that the shot clock might not have reset itself, as a second ago it was at 18, now back up at 28.
Very observant, Amanda.
It's what I get paid to do.
All over the place, yeah.
That's what they pay me for.
Foul. Brown Turner throwing a hip check at Amy Hayford. Westmore, 15-point lead, but the man doesn't look happy. I guess if you're a coach, you're never happy, though, is the thing.
Always things to improve on.
Ball screen for Igbokwe. Harris wants it back. A lot of dribbling from Harris. Back out to Hayford. Crossover, gets into the paint. It's a contested shot, a lot of contact on it, no call. Amanda, we talked about it earlier with the Panthers offensively. Terry Mitchell telling us that the guards need to start playing with a more attacking mindset. Have you seen a little bit more of that in this game at times?
At times, and that's exactly what you say is correct. You see it in spurts. They'll have moments where they have success offensively, and it is when you see the guards moving around with the ball and not just dribbling outside the arc. They have to drive into the lane, because then that will collapse the defense, so that can open up opportunities for players. And you see there, driving into the lane, exactly what NC State just did, and then that opened it up so that Jakia Brown-Turner could get sliced through the lane. So great inbounds play and a beautiful pass from Ace Koenig, and you see the experience of her coming through, one of the seniors on this Wolfpack team.
Brown-Turner with 8 points on the day. Looking for an and one. And she completes the three-point play.
And now right at her average for the season, averaging just under 10 points at 9.2, picking up her 9th point on the night.
There's an offensive foul on Lamarck here. So another turnover for Pittsburgh, and things are starting to get a little out of hand. An 18-point lead in the third quarter. It's the 9th Panther turnover. NC State taking care of the ball, only 4 giveaways on the day. Pass deflected by Harris, good active hands, and Propa comes up with it newly into the game.
And that was a time where you saw NC State just a little lackadaisical with the pass, usually very crisp and finding the open player quickly, but Panthers able to get into the lane there, and Ismini Propa into the game for Pitt.
It's just a beautiful defensive possession here by NC State. Pitt's trying to do a lot of dribbling into the middle, and NC State just beating them to the spot with their bodies every single time. Saw Hayford kind of get hung up there on the crossover attempt. Harris looking frustrated after that possession.
You see here, Harris just kind of coming into that ball, just going across the lane to move with her player, and then found herself at the right place at the right time. And right place, right time there for NC State is Ace Koenig with a big 3, putting the Wolfpack up by 21.
Koenig has been largely quiet today, but a couple of threes, 6 points for the Wolfpack. Hayford trying a deep one. Rebound down to who else? Elisa Kinane. Another turnover. This time NC State there. 6th of the day. This lead is inflated for Westmore and the Wolfpack. Panthers down by 21 here in the 3rd quarter, and the big story all year long with this Panthers team sitting at 3-14 is just about trusting their process and learning how to deal with that. Casey, you have more on that.
Yeah, we talked to associate head coach Terry Mitchell before the game, and she talked about how they started a book club over Christmas break for this Lance White and his team. The book they're reading right now is Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Metcalf. The book is all about the process, like you mentioned, Kevin. And the goal is to start a mission on this team. When you have a mission, you always have to wake up and fulfill that versus a goal you can give up on. So this book club, like I said, started over Christmas break. They have to read a couple chapters a week, and then they'll pick the next book. And again, they'll all revolve around the process. And guys, I think maybe we should pick it up too and read along with the team.
Well, Terry Mitchell, she wasn't shy and said that it really is a book that everybody should read. And in a situation like the Panthers are in right now, yeah, it's a learning process, so you might as well.
I think it could help us with our teamwork as well, knowing that our mission is to provide a great broadcast for our viewers. So I think we could learn something.
Well, earlier we all said that we were going to win the pony race, so we could probably be better teammates to each other instead of just assuming that we're going to win everything.
Well, if I don't win, I'll know it's all about the process.
That's right.
Working toward the ultimate goal of winning.
Exactly.
So well trained.
So then when everyone sees Casey late nights in the Peep practicing the horse race, they'll know why.
It's a process. Hashtag the process. Let's get it trending for Casey Garrow.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, and that's the great thing about coaching too is like there's no blueprint for how to do it and how to get your team to perform the way you want them to, and not only just on the court but off the court and in many different ways. And he's watching these people grow up. His players are growing up. There's a lot of young players on this team, so anything that Lance White and his staff can do to kind of bring their development along, you got to think of creative ways to do it, and this is a good way to try.
Absolutely, and it's all about the little things. You see here a little thing called a beautiful pass to a wide open Jakia Brown-Turner. You could see there Amy Hayford getting caught looking at the ball and not paying attention to the rest of the NC State Wolfpack. And a great post move inside. Crutchfield getting in on the action as well.
NC State just so well coached. The lead now inflating to 29 points here. You can get the sense that they all know where everyone is supposed to be on the floor at all times, and that's the type of chemistry that doesn't just happen overnight. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of late nights in the gym.
And that's the type of chemistry that's led them to 2 straight Sweet 16s. And you talk about a process and a mission. The mission for NC State is to get themselves past the Sweet 16, which, as I said, they've found themselves the past 2 seasons. They want to reach that Elite Eight. They want to be one of those ACC teams that is feared around the country.
3 NCAA tournament appearances for Westmore in his time at NC State. Sweet 16 the last couple of years, like you said. A runner-up for AP Coach of the Year last season, too. And he's got a lot of the team that he had last year back with him this year. And it looks a little bit different here and there, but the talent that he's been able to bring in back-to-back recruiting classes is impressive. Formerly at Chattanooga, he had 9 tournament appearances there in 15 years and worked up to a job in a Power 5 conference. And he's honestly just a lot of fun to talk to as well. You watch him on the bench, and he's halfway down the bench right now. It's hilarious.
Right in the middle of everything, in the middle of the action. And he told us, Kevin, something that I thought was really interesting. Kayla Jones on his team, who we see have 8 points and 5 rebounds. In her first 2 seasons, she didn't play a ton, but right now she's playing a pivotal role. And the key for her is that she's from Coach Moore's wife's hometown. And every time he would come home from a game in the past couple of seasons, she would look at him and say, "Hey, why isn't Jones in? That's my girl."
Said he'd get the silent treatment when he went home after a game like that. So I guess Jones has Westmore's wife to thank for her minutes tonight, earning them as well, obviously, 8 points on the evening.
And Canaan, another rebound, now up to 8, trying to get her ACC leading 11th double-double of the season as she already has 10 points.
Jakia Brown-Turner leading the scoring for NC State with 13 tonight on 5 of 10 shooting. And then Canaan following her up with 10 of her own, 5 of 8 shooting.
There's a great take from Crutchfield. And it seems like every time we talk about this team offensively, Kevin, every possession we're mentioning a different name. And we talked about the spread scoring that they have. You're looking at almost having 3 players, going to be 4 soon, in double figures. And then there's a number of other players that have those couple of points just chipping in for this NC State team.
Crutchfield with 5 tonight, a 70% free throw shooter this year. Completes the 3-point play. Excuse me, that's Crutchfield's 8th point now after the 3-point play. Hayford from the corner, off a Panther, NC State ball.
And that was a better offensive possession for the Panthers. You saw Gabby Green drive into the lane, and that collapsed the defense just for a second, which allowed Amy Hayford to sneak out beyond the 3-point line, just not able to hit the shot.
NC State just owning the third quarter. It seems like just a few minutes ago this was an 8-point game, and the Panthers were feeling optimistic heading into halftime. And this third quarter has just blown up for NC State. Now a 34-point lead. They've scored 28 points in this quarter compared to only 2 for the Panthers.
And that was Kayla Ely wanting to get in on the scoring action, and Dejanette Harris as well for the Panthers. Ely was the only player that had seen court time for NC State that hadn't scored before that 3 on the last possession.
Foul down low. Igbokwe thought she had all ball. Canaan's going to go to the line.
The problem there is just a lot of body contact. Igbokwe needs to focus on standing straight up and then letting Canaan initiate the contact, and that's when she'll get the foul call offensively on Canaan. So when she's hovered over top of her, that's just an automatic call. Too much body contact.
Canaan gets both. A 77% free throw shooter. Now she heads to the bench. 17 points a game this year, Canaan. Preseason All-ACC player. Nearing the end of the third quarter, NC State, are they going to dribble it out? No, they find a wide open Brown-Turner in the corner. Can't get it. 2.5 remaining on the clock. Panthers will have one heave attempt here. Two dribbles and a heave. No shot, didn't matter. End of the third quarter, and what a third quarter it was for NC State.
Welcome back inside the Petersen Event Center. We're about a week away from February 1st, which will kick off the Play for K Free Throw Challenge. The Free Throw Challenge is part of the Play for K initiative that was kicked off by the late head coach of NC State, Kay Yao. In 1987, Kay Yao was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a 22-year battle, off and on again for Coach Kay Yao, and she started this great initiative. It all started with just one game, the Hoops for Hope game, in 2006, and then 2007 it really kicked off. It started the Kay Yao Cancer Fund that raises a lot of money, millions of dollars, to fight against all women's cancers. Coach Yao was a great inspiration to all of us, especially in the world of basketball. It'll be a special month here in February, and one of her assistants was actually head coach Westmore of NC State today. So February will certainly be special, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Casey. You mentioned the money, over $7.5 million awarded from the Kay Yow Cancer Fund to research grants and programs for all underserved women who have to deal with cancer. So it's a fantastic thing, obviously. And the National Free Throw Challenge, just another way that even you can get involved at home. You can actually pledge for every time one of your team players hits a free throw, you can donate a certain amount of money. That's what Lance White is actually doing for the Panthers this year. For the entire month of February, he's going to donate $5 to the National Free Throw Challenge Fund for the Kay Yow Research Fund. And that could rack up pretty quick for Lance White.
Absolutely.
He's a generous guy.
Especially with the way these players drive for the Panthers. They love to get to the free throw line, but then it's all about making them. So you got to get there, but then you have to finish.
It's every made free throw, right.
So maybe that'll be a little motivation for his players, bump up their averages.
Certainly.
Try and take some money out of coach's pocket. All to a good cause.
Of course. Kay Yow's example goes much further than basketball. Obviously, famous for what she did on the basketball court as a coach in the Hall of Fame. One of only 6 D1 women's basketball coaches with over 700 wins. So it's an amazing thing that she did for basketball. And now, obviously, even after she has passed back in 2009, she's continuing to affect the game and affect a lot of people's lives. It's a fantastic thing and a fantastic initiative. It all ties into Pink the Pete as well, also happening on February 1st. So that'll be the first day of it. And there's no better day than that.
Absolutely. This place fills up with fans all dressed in pink. So many activities going on that day. A day that I always look forward to being here and just seeing everyone supporting such a great cause.
As far as this game goes right now, this was an 8-point game at halftime, and we're in the early stages of the fourth quarter here, and you see the way that this lead has grown for NC State, and it's thanks to a third quarter where NC State scored 30 points. Panthers only with 4 in that quarter, and Wes Moore struggling to see the scoreboard right now, but if he could see it well, it would be a 35-point lead for his team. See the points by quarter so far tonight. You see the big 30 in the third for NC State and that 4 total in the third quarter for Pitt. Lowest point total in a quarter this year. It ties it. They did it once before.
And a big thing in that third quarter for me, Kevin, was the fact that Elisa Cunane stayed on the floor for NC State. She picked up foul trouble in the first 2 quarters of this game and had to come out for a significant time, and she was able to keep herself in the game, and she only has 12 points to go along with those 8 rebounds, but it's just what she's able to do, get those rebounds so that she can spread the ball to the rest of her team, and even just getting the ball down low so that she can kick it out to an open teammate, because the Panthers have really been doubling down in the post defensively.
Cunane, an ACC Player of the Year award candidate. Up for a bunch of national awards, the top 25 midseason list for the Wooden Award, best player in the country.
Also to go along with being on the Lisa Leslie Award watch list as well, one of the top centers in the country.
This ball out of bounds, possession to NC State. There's Cunane. Here's that Wooden Award watch list and the company that she keeps. She had a nice matchup with Gillespie last week against Florida State where her team comes out victorious. Montpremier from Miami, a very talented player in her own right, and those are the ACC players on that top 25 list.
And a great thing, too, to see the ACC represented on that kind of list, just showing the prowess that this conference has across the country.
Harris with another try. 3 teams in the ACC in the top 25 right now in the AP poll. Louisville leading that, number 5 in the country, always a force to be reckoned with. Jeff Walls, the head coach, always does a great job. Of course, these Wolfpack sitting at number 8, and then Florida State, who NC State took down last week, sitting at number 14. But it's funny because on any given night, anybody can show up, and we talk about this all the time. We sound like broken records, really, talking about the ACC and all the different sports and how much firepower there is from top to bottom. And for a while tonight, Amanda, the Panthers were giving NC State some trouble. And outside of one bad quarter, which, you know, has really been the problem for the Panthers all year long. You know, this could have been a different game if the Panthers played a little better in that third quarter.
Yeah, they always look to try and have that run stop for their opponents, but just not able to get it going tonight. And really, it was just the offense of NC State on display in that third quarter, but then the defense as well. They made it very difficult for the Panthers to try and get anything going offensively. As you see, Gabby Green almost averaging 10 points on the season, and she's done a great job as of late. But so far tonight, just 2 points for the Panthers.
Held ball off the rebound. Possession will stay on this end.
And Kevin, you have to think about, if you're NC State, what you have coming up next. Their next opponent is North Carolina, and why that's important is because this NC State team sits at 17-1, and that one loss to the Tar Heels of North Carolina.
That's right. That was back on January 9th, a 6-point loss to North Carolina. Of course, that was on the road, so they'll be looking for revenge at Reynolds Coliseum. Will the Wolfpack against the Tar Heels?
And Dejanette Harris for the Panthers having a nice night, getting her first start in 6 games and leading the Panthers with 13 points. And that's a player that the Panthers really are looking for to be a young leader on this Panthers team. One of the players that you expect to hear vocally on the court, really guiding this team as a young player, and she has a very promising future for this Panthers team.
That's what Terry Mitchell told us earlier. These younger players that are getting so many minutes for these Panthers, you know, they're growing before their eyes, and you know, whether the results are coming or not, these minutes are valuable and these moments are teachable.
And she said that they're going to be super sophomores with how much playing time that they've all received. It'll probably to them seem like they're juniors at that point with how much experience that they've gained on the court. But all good things. Panthers have a good crop of players coming in next season, but they still have a lot of basketball to play this season. And a great dish from Gabby Green down low to Rita Igbokwe. Now Igbokwe with 3 points, her first field goal of the night.
35-point lead for NC State. Number 8 in the country will turn a 6-1 conference record into a 7-1 conference record, sitting second in the league right now. And Amanda, I got to tell you, I'm very impressed with what we've seen from NC State tonight. This team's going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch. A little over 4 left in the fourth quarter. We'll be back.
Welcome back inside the Petersen Event Center. 41-76, NC State still leading the way. Cunane got to take a little bit of break, and you got to see number 41, Camille Hobby, step into her role. She normally only averages about 6 minutes per game. Debbie Antonelli mentioned she's one of the first players on and off the court before practices or games, always working hard, always looking for that next opportunity, Kevin.
Yeah, she's got some good minutes tonight, obviously in Cunane's absence for a little bit, in some foul trouble tonight with 9 minutes for Hobby, 5 points. There's Cunane right there. And I think it was Deb Antonelli that nicknamed Lisa Cunane #Big Smile. And that kind of has stuck around for her. We saw her, there was a good shot earlier of her laughing with her teammates there. There it is. And that nickname really did stick over time.
And another nickname for Cunane, and it's an odd one that we heard about earlier with head coach Wes Moore, is Trevor.
Yeah, that's funny stuff. And it's all because I believe somebody said that she looked like Trevor Lawrence. It was during ACC Media Days. She said it herself. And so that stuck too. So now head coach Wes Moore just calls her Trevor, and you could tell in shoot around that she doesn't love it, but she will laugh it off, and you know, as long as Wes Moore can have some fun with her, that builds a relationship.
Yeah, she said that Trevor had blonde hair, she has blonde hair, you know, the similarities are there.
Yeah.
And another steal for Kayla Ely. One of those players, when we talked to Coach Wes Moore, he talked about wanting her to get more active. She was a player that was injured last season and is really starting to come along here in the 2020 season.
40-point lead for NC State on the road. Top 10 team. They've just inflicted their will on the Panthers in the second half. Pass underneath, into the middle. Beautiful ball movement for NC State. Everything going their way. The teammates on the bench love it.
And as you said, just beautiful ball movement, and they're so active still. With this lead in the game, they're getting in all the lanes and still running the floor. You see Hunter here going up against Ajanette Harris and getting herself to the line. It's like this game just started for the Wolfpack, and they're really hungry to get some points. The teammates loving it on the bench. Almost going out of bounds, and then the beautiful finish by Boyd up and under.
Hunter at the line again. Hunter, one of 13 children in her family. Basically grew up on a basketball team of her own.
They could have two with a couple of subs.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all that you need.
Great pickup games in the Hunter household. Big block down low by Boyd. Hunter trying to finish it off, and a block on this end by Igbokwe. They call her for a foul. Another girl on the bench tonight for NC State, Aislinn Koenig. Casey, why don't you tell us a little more about Aislinn?
Yeah, she's on the bench right now, but she's usually their go-to shooter on the perimeter. She just had her 1,000 career point versus Wake Forest. That was just this past weekend. And she also is from Vancouver, which is about almost 3,000 miles away. In fact, Kevin, she only took a 26-hour recruiting trip. Wes Moore wanted her to stay much longer, but she was already on board. And you might have saw that one fact. She actually has eaten a fisheye in her time.
Oh
she
gosh.
Accidentally chewed it, though. She didn't swallow it, Kevin. Just so you know, you need to swallow it whole. You do not chew it. I believe it might be bad luck, Amanda.
Life lessons. I had no idea. I don't think eating a fisheye is like on my primary list of things I should know in life, but at least I know that now.
Not necessarily, but I wanna one up her fisheye and say that I have eaten a freeze-dried cricket before.
Oh my gosh!
Is that a family tradition?
It is not at all. No, you know, just one of those things. It was for work. You know, a bit for work, and I got involved in it, and you know, it didn't taste half bad. I kind of compared it almost to, you know, the chip in the bottom of the bag that's kind of a little bit crisp, like gets a little dark.
Yeah.
That's kind of similar taste.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I think you and Aislinn need to hang out somewhere and advance your palate somehow.
Maybe. I mean, now I know to not chew the fisheye, so I'm all good.
I don't think I've knowingly eaten anything as weird as what you guys were just talking about.
You gotta adventure more, Kevin. Get out there.
Apparently, I'm so uncultured that I have never eaten a fisheye or a
freeze-dried cricket.
Freeze-dried cricket.
I mean, Oakland here, the campus of the University of Pittsburgh has such an eclectic food here that you need to explore.
I don't know about that. Maybe
a food scene that you need to explore it.
Maybe we should do just a strange foods kind of video with some of these players and see what everybody has tried.
I'm all for it. Count me in.
We're off the rails now. We are off the rails. That's funny stuff.
But Ajanette Harris is on tonight. On
what
the
a
rails.
segue there, partner.
15 points, going for 16, and a great job. She's really been the catalyst for this Panthers team tonight, coming not off of the bench as we've seen in the past couple of games. 6 games where she came off the bench, was struggling offensively, but not tonight as she's leading all players with those 15 points. NC State still battling down low, getting the offensive rebound in another possession as we're under a minute left here in the fourth quarter.
44-point lead for NC State. And, you know, honestly, we were talking about this a little earlier. North Carolina coming after this, obviously. NC State has had success here in Pittsburgh before.
Yeah, 4-0.
The ability to not look past this game and come and perform like this is very impressive, and just signs of a well-coached team.
Absolutely, and it shows what this team has in mind. We talked about it earlier. They have 2 consecutive Sweet 16 appearances, but they want more. They're looking as the number 8 team in the country to go even further in the NCAA tournament and be the top team that comes out of the ACC and goes very far into the NCAA tournament.
Shot clock is off for NC State. They will get their 18th win. This is their largest margin of victory this year, 44 points. Absolutely amazing performance for NC State, top to bottom. Bunch of players in the stat sheet, more than I can even read off to you right now.
And
Jakia Brown-Turner led that team. Canaan obviously lived up to expectations tonight.
To score 88 points and your leading scorer has 13 just shows how complete of a team that NC State is, and what the Panthers are striving to be. A great game from Harris, and Panthers hope that'll continue moving forward.
That'll do it for us. For Amanda Sile and Casey Garrow, I'm Kevin Wheeler saying so long from Pittsburgh, where the final score is NC State 88 and Pittsburgh 44. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on the ACC network, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.